Well, hello again and welcome to the VK6CS Amateur Radio channel. Just a final finish off with the LC meter kit from Altronics. I didn't calibrate it because I didn't have any high stability capacitors. I see in the catalogue that it actually measures from 0.1 picofarads to 800 nanofarads. Now 800 nanofarads is actually 800,000 picofarads. So it's got quite a considerable range. I don't have a capacitor to a high stability capacitor to calibrate it mid-range. The highest value I've got is 10,000 picofarads. I mentioned it on the air that I was after some silver mica capacitors or a silver mica capacitor, so I could calibrate this because I don't have any. And the local outlets, Altronics and J didn't have any mica capacitors, so the only place I could get any would be from commercial suppliers like RS or Element 14. Unfortunately, Al, VK6KIF, said, yeah, no worries Steve, I've got some you can borrow, I'll bring them up to the club on Saturday. We're both members of the Hills Amateur Radio group, and sure enough, yesterday I saw Al up there and he handed me a bag of mica capacitors. As loaners to calibrate my meter. Now the largest value in there is 10,000 picofarads. I've just put it on the device. Now I do have my long leads connected like that, rather than put the other little gadget on here. That's there's two posts and you can just put the capacitor between the posts, and I thought, yeah, okay, I could do that, but I'm actually going to be, the way I'll use it is probably going to be with these leads. You know, if I'm doing any tuned circuits and things like that, these leads will be attached, so I'll just calibrate it as I would as I would use it in the real world, which is you'd have the two leads. Actually, I'll just do it. You just have the two leads and put them as close as possible to the source that I was going to measure, the capacitor I was going to measure. You can see that it's showing the stray capacitance there is about 1 picofarad, but I'll just calibrate that. Now that's saying 0 picofarads, so I won't move these leads, or I'll move them as little as possible. And then I'll put my capacitor on. Certainly not going to get variations like 900 odd picofarads. And it's saying over range when it sorts itself out. 10.92 NF. So that's telling me. So 10.92 NF is 10,920 picofarads. Okay, so that's out of cal. Now, originally I said, well, I'll calibrate it when I get a decent capacitor, and it's going to be a case of connecting the capacitor and adjusting that pot. And I was completely wrong. This pot is the display contrast. So I've just given that a little bit of a tweak just to improve the contrast on the display there. And the way you actually calibrate it is by putting the link that you get with the kit. There it is, there, that link. I just had it parked on one of the pins just to keep it somewhere convenient. But you connect a reference capacitor, and if the capacitor is too high, you put that link on position 3. This will change to the value that the capacitor is, and then you quickly whip the link off. And if it's too low, you put it on link 4. Now it might be the other way around, I can't remember now, I just read the instructions, but I'm going to do it now, so I'll put the link on and we'll see which direction this change is in, and if it's in the wrong direction I'll just put it on the other position. It's as simple as that. The device remembers the setting, so once you put the link on there and it's calibrated, you take the link off and it's good to go. Now people out there that are alert will notice that I've changed the battery. I've taken that brightly coloured blue and yellow battery out and I put a Panasonic battery in. I thought, well, if I'm going to calibrate it, I'll use a good quality battery. So I don't know what sort of quality the other battery was, but it was a make that I'd never heard of. I can't even remember where I got it from. Now it does actually say in the instructions, they do say fish the instructions out of the bin, fine-tuning the calibration, and it then goes on to tell you how to do it. Switch the unit, goes through the calibrating, connect the known value capacitor, and should be fairly close to the capacitor's value. If the reading's too low, install link 4, and if it's too high, install link 3. Basically that's a synopsis of what that says. But that is in the instructions, so I think I said I'd looked at the instructions before and it didn't actually tell you how to calibrate it. Well, I was wrong, it does. So remember the old adage, if everything else fails, fish the instructions out of the bin and read them. Right, now that's showing me that's 10,920 picofarads, or 10.92 NF. The reading's too high, so I need to put link 3 on and see if that will decrease to the value of the capacitor. So let's give that a go. There we go. Oh, it's coming down. Can you see that? It's coming down quite nicely. I'm hoping that will be slow enough for me to be able to whip that off when it gets to exactly 10, but we'll see. It's going down. 19, 15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Oops, no, I missed it by 3. It's a good job it's not a gunfight, isn't it? Crikey, I'd have been shot for the holes. Oh, there we go. It's going up. Ah. I can see why it says you may have to repeat the procedure. It's very, very touchy. There we go. Okay. There we are. 10 nanofarads. 10,000 picofarads. So now what I'll do is, that's the biggest value capacitor I've got. So now I'll just see how it tracks across the range. Let's pick another one from this excellent selection that Al's loaned me here. What value is that? 560 picofarads. Okay, let's take off the 10,000. And calibrate. And now let's put on the 560. Big difference between 10,000 and 560. Okay. Ooh. Now that's saying 540. It's saying 540 picofarads. It's not terribly good, is it? Let's try 820. It doesn't say you have to switch it off or do anything else. So it should just, once you've calibrated it with that link, should be good to go. Let's try 820. Let's just calibrate that again. And 0.2 picofarads is nothing really, but okay. Now maybe that 10, if this one's wildly out as well, it may just be that 10,000 puff capacitor's not good. Okay, 820 picofarads, and that's supposed to be plus or minus 1%. 820, so that's what? That's saying it's 793 point something, it's over 0.5, so let's call it 794 picofarads, so that's 6. So that's 26 picofarads out. So what's 1% of 820? Well, 10% is 82. So 1% would be 8.2, wouldn't it? That's more than 8.2, isn't it? Is that right? 820, 10%, 82, 1%, 8.2. Yes, right. So that is I would say, I mean that's saying, I mean these capacitors have probably, you know, been around a while, but that's actually, if we're allowed, so that's 820, so it could be 812, so that's a fair bit out, isn't it? Okay, let's try another one. Let's try another one from the, this one's 3800. Clip it on as close to the capacitor as possible. There you go. 3800. I did read that right, didn't I? It's 3800, it's not 3600. So look with a torch. It could be 3600 actually. That could be 3600. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Okay, what else have we got here? 2700. Okay, that's easy to read. Let's try that one. Take that off. Again, no, it's calibrated. Saying 0 picofarads. Put that on there and that on there. And what have we got? 2645 picofarads, and that's saying it's supposed to be 2700. So to get to 700, that would need to be another 55 picofarads. So that's plus or minus 1%. So that's 10% is 270. So 1% will be 27. So if we say that's 27 puff, that's more than 27 picofarads out, isn't it? I mean, it's not hugely out. I mean, the difference between, so what would that have to be? 56 and 27. Okay, well, yeah, that's a little bit out, isn't it? Unless these capacitors are out because they're old, but that is out, I would say. Maybe I should recalibrate it closer to the values I'd be interested in looking at in tuned circuits. So let's see if I can just find something like a, I don't know, 500 or 1000. Yeah, 1000 puff. There we go. That's a 1000 picofarad capacitor. Maybe that one would be better to calibrate it with. Again, we'll just zero it. Getting a little better at reaching around the camera. Okay, and that's saying 972.4 picofarads. So 1% of 1000 puff is going to be, so what's that? It'll be 10 picofarads. So that's still out, isn't it? Because that is saying, we'll call that 973. So that's 27 picofarads out, and we're according to that, it's a 1% capacitor. So that would be, what did I say? 1000, so 100, so 10. Okay, so instead of being up to 10 picofarads out, it's actually 27 picofarads. The difference in reading. Alright, well let's just try, I'll just try calibrating that. If that's too low, it said, didn't it? So let's just stick that on there. Maybe my 10,000 picofarad capacitor's a bit out. Okay. So fiddly. It'd be so much nicer to do that with a pot. There we go. That's showing 1000 picofarads. 1 NF is 1000 picofarads. Right, okay, so now that that's on that, let's just see if that Looks a bit happier with the other values now. Let's try the 2700 picofarad. Now that's saying it's 2723 picofarads. So 2700, 1%, so that's 270, so that's 27. So that's now in spec. That's better than 1%, because it's supposed to be 2700. It's saying 2723 because it's a 2700 puff capacitor plus or minus 1%. 1% is 27 picofarads. 23 is less than 27. So that is now looking much better. So that is yeah, much happier with that. Okay, so let's take that off. What was that? That was the 2700. What's this one here? That's a 10,000. Oh man, this is the one I wasn't sure. Now, is that? I can't really see if that's 3,600. Oh me, or 3,800. Let's have a look. So shed a bit of light on this. Yeah, I think that's probably 3,600. So again, let's try that. We'll just calibrate that. That on there and that on there. And that's saying 3,646 puff. So I'd say that says 3,600, and that's plus or minus 1%. 3,600, so that's 360, that's 36. So 3,600, that's out of spec, but very slightly. So if we're allowed 36, it's allowed to be out 36 puff. 3,600, 10%. 360, 1%, 36. So 3,600, so 36, it's actually 10 picofarads out. Now, whether it's the capacitor's age, whether it's the way this thing does its calculating isn't you know, absolutely spot on, but that's certainly close enough, I think. Alright, well, let's just see how we go with a really low value. One of these small ones. One of these small ones here. Now, what value is this? Let's get the torch. I think that's 68 picofarads. Okay, so it's already zeroed. I go on there, and then on there. Yeah, okay. That's saying 67.9 picofarads. So if that's a 68 picofarad capacitor, 67.9, I'm very happy with that. Okay, well I see that I'm rapidly running out of time. I haven't figured out how to make this camera record in blocks longer than 20 minutes. And it's showing me 18 minutes 58, it's just gone over the 19 minutes and 3 seconds now. So I'll say, as always, I hope you found that interesting or informative, or both. If you get one of these kits, that's how you calibrate it, by putting the link on there. You know, link 4 or link 3, you put it on, either goes up or down, you take it off when it gets to the value you want, then it automatically stores it. That's your calibration done. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.